Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm Kesh,
I'm Sri.
And I'm Aditya.
I'm Gokul.
and welcome to the first ever episode of What the Art, a podcast where we just talk about artsy stuff. Let's get into it.
So it's good that we finally made it happen, and I'm really glad that you guys are co-hosting this particular podcast we have right now, and I'll give it away to Adi. Let's see how this goes, man.
You know what? We're gonna keep this. Trust me. So, for people who are listening, for people who are listening, I have no context.
People who are listening, please bear with the awkwardness.
We were still trying to figure out how we're gonna do the intro. So this is an introductory episode, and we're like completely screwing around with how we're gonna do this stuff. Yep.
But hey, I mean, that being said, I'm really glad that we finally got around to it. I mean, because this has been a long time coming. There's been almost weeks of planning. And it started with an idea, but we actually got to execute it rather quickly, I'd say, because we all shared that same collective vision of what we wanted to bring to this podcast. It was all about just syncing up and just getting it done. And I guess, I think we're over our schedule by a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, because at the end of the day, you want everything to be perfect and you want it to go well. And here we are,
True.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And so Gokul, say something. By the way, so this is how it works, people.
So I am the random dude.
Yeah, he's a random.
So I think a lot of people have been asking us who are the three artists and who's the fourth random dude. Okay, so I am the random dude. So I'm Gokul, and I am the random dude. I think I've been telling it like multiple times.
You've been introducing yourself as a random dude. Hi, I'm Gokul. Here's my business card. I'm the random dude.
It's like the random dude with OCD.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm actually very glad that we're doing this. So it's been my dream to actually work with artists, even though I'm not an artist. To at least do something with them, right? So that is some of their art thing will rub off on me, so that I can also go out and say, wait, I'm also an artist. So I think it's pretty cool that I'm actually working with you guys. I'm very happy. I'm actually very humbled that I'm working with you guys. I think it's going to be very fun. And Aditya, I like your what do they say?
Chacola?
No, the slang. No, the
Accent?
Accent. Yeah.
Oh God.
Accent. It's pretty.
Since you brought that up, I should probably say that I'm the only NRI dude here, and
Oh yeah. So that's why I was like wondering yesterday. Okay. I thought I might offend you by asking like what's up with
No,
the
definitely not. I should say this is about as Indian as my accent gets. And for my friends in the US listening to this, don't worry, guys. I do still have my American accent.
Oh,
And we want to hear that as well.
You switch accents like
He could switch accents. He
I
said.
can switch accents just like this. This is my normal American accent. This is how I would normally speak to my friends
Wow.
in the US. Yeah.
I think we're going to talk about.
we're all going to talk in our American accent.
Flies so well here. So now I have to switch back to this accent as so.
That's a smooth transition, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right, guys. So, like for people who are listening, to have some context. So, let's probably introduce all ourselves first.
Yes.
So I'll go first because I'm the narcissistic dude, right?
Yeah, sure. We all are narcissists in our own ways.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know who I am Kesh, and people call me Kesh for some reason. That's stuck because I don't know. I just shortened it and thought it would be a good branding decision. But still, yeah.
But it's catchy though, so it works.
Yeah, it works. It definitely works.
I actually think you kept that name for yourself, and you're telling that people kept the name for you because it's cute.
Actually, I did. You gotta rip on the mic with your laughing, dude. It was actually a bit of both. I didn't want when I was starting YouTube. So by the way, I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos. I'm an illustrator. I draw stuff. I've been drawing for I don't know, Like every other artist boasts, I've been drawing since the age of 5. So that's how that's how long I've been doing. And
What's up with age 5, man? Everybody is like saying I'm drawing from age 5.
that's because that's when they can remember stuff.
I was thinking, what I was doing at age 5?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like people won't call you on that. If you say age 3, they'll be like, I don't
Too
think,
young.
yeah, too young. Yeah, you must be a prodigy right now. Age 7, you're too old, dude.
Yeah, I think 5 is the youngest you
Yeah.
can go before it becomes
Yeah.
unbelievable or like.
Yeah,
The threshold.
Yeah, I think that's like
I'm
minimum
gonna say
threshold.
that. I'm gonna say that. Age 5, I started my first business. I'm gonna say that.
Age 5. I started my business at age 5, guys. I'm telling you. This is. So yeah. Anyways, I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos. I love making films. I love making art, and I love cartooning. I like making characters, illustrations. So that's who I am. And yeah, that's pretty much. Wait, what should I say? What else should I say? Yeah, I'm 6'1". I'm brown Indian. I like wearing shorts to work. I'm lactose intolerant.
I think there's more.
Yeah, I am as well.
Yeah, there's more information. I like ran out of stuff to say. I was just like filling it up. So, anyways, yeah. So that's who I am. And you know what, Shri? Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
Take it
So just like Kesh, for those who don't know me, I am Sri Priyatham. Well, people find Priyatham a bit more confusing, so I think they just got comfortable with calling me Sri. Well, I am known as Sri professionally. So yeah, I am an illustrator again. I draw for a living, just like I usually say, and I work with advertising agencies as a creative illustrator. I take independent commissions and.
Don't forget the TEDx talk.
Well,
man.
yeah.
This guy is a TEDx speaker.
Well, that doesn't come under my specialization or something,
It's definitely something nice.
Yeah, okay, I'll let it slide in though. That's not, I'm not complaining anyway. But I draw mostly anything and everything, but I actually like drawing portraits a lot, and I'm actually specialized in caricatures, illustrations, hyperrealism, and I'm working more on digital art these days. And I'm sure for those who knows my work already, so I'm sure you're acquainted with my work, and especially with my digital work. And of course, I work on every medium possible, but these days it's been a bit more comfortable switching into the digital revolution. So yeah, that's about it. It's there's no fancy story for what I do. I've been drawing just like we had a joke from the age of 5. So
Bloody 5.
We've all.
okay, so I'll
guys,
make it a
we've all
bit.
been
I've been drawing since I crawled out of my mom's womb. Okay.
Yeah, that's how. Like once my mom got pregnant, I told her to like eat a pencil and a sketchbook so that I can sketch inside. Yeah, that's how long I've been practicing. I'm telling you guys, you gotta work hard to be an artist.
Yeah, work hard.
Yeah, work hard right from the womb.
Oh my
You
God.
should starve hard to be an artist.
Oh my God. I hope your parents don't listen to this stuff.
Oh, oh, gee.
The first thing is going to be that.
Yeah, sorry, mom and dad in advance.
Yeah.
Adi, you need to come up a little bit closer to the mic and speak. Yeah.
Okay, how is this?
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
alright.
So I'm giving it away to Adi.
Oh yeah.
We're like
Hey guys.
passing mics right now. Hey, Adi,
Yeah.
take
yeah,
the
hey.
mic. Then we Adi. Yeah. Yeah, go on, Adi.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Aditya. For those of you who don't know me, I go by the Instagram handle, my Instagram handle, the Onyx Method, and I'd say I'm rather one of the more inexperienced artists amongst this group because
Please,
Kesh here is a YouTuber and an illustrator, and Sri does this professionally full time, and I'm actually an engineering graduate, a mechanical engineering graduate.
See,
Art started out as a hobby for me. Again, since as the joke goes, from the age of 5. but it's true.
He's been an engineer since the age of 5.
Yeah, at the age of 5. It's
What
true.
a podcast by artists who have been drawing for us since the age of 5.
Age of 5. Yeah.
I'm the one who have no idea what he did at age of 5.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I've been drawing for as long as I can remember, like education-wise or whatever I've been doing besides that. Drawing and art in general has always been a constant for me in my life. So I think I'd say it was only a few years ago, maybe like even less than 6 years ago, when I actually got more serious about my art. And before that, it was just stick figure comics or, just like drawing animals or drawing like characters like from like some of my favorite movies, things like that. But I don't think I really got as serious as I did until I actually picked up a piece of charcoal and started experimenting around with it. And I think that's when I really kind of myself started believing in myself more, and I kind of unlocked, I'd say, unlocked
Super
something
Saiyan.
inside of me.
He unlocked the seventh
Yeah,
sense.
and then there was no
He
turning
unlocked
back
the
after
seventh
that.
sense.
Sort of.
Yeah, basically. So
Basically.
yeah, I mean,
So he's acknowledging that he unlocked 7 senses. Wow.
Okay. So sorry. I mean, dude, you just like completely messed him up. He was saying something really profound and interesting. And you're like just.
yeah, no, I lost my train of thought now, but no, yeah, I think I've said what I wanted to say.
That's good. That's good. You know what, guys? I think you both need to like stop breathing into the microphone a bit. Like try to maintain a good distance. So that would be good.
Yeah, this mic is
So,
just very
yeah.
sensitive.
So like people who are listening to this, like we were like completely figuring this whole thing out on the go. So like don't mind us. So those are the 3 artists, right, on this podcast. So that's me, Shri, and Adi. So we're the 3 artists, and you're going to be only hearing from us most of the time, except for some time you're going to hear this voice right now.
Yep. So guys, I'm Gokul. I'm the one who didn't draw at age 5. I'm the one who had no clue what I was doing at age 5. I don't even remember. I don't care. I don't know how these guys even remember what they were doing at age 5. I don't even remember what I was doing last year at this point in time. So I'm very confused and conflicted on this whole thing about age 5. Okay, I'm gonna ask my mom today what I was doing at age 5.
Gokul, you were selling lemonades at the age 5. That's why you're a businessman right now. No, I just went full Indian on you, mom. I'm so sorry.
So I don't think, as these guys said, that you guys, I mean, most of you guys would have seen Kesh, Priyatham, and Aditya's artwork, and none of you guys would know me because I'm the one who stays away from limelight.
Limelight, yeah, spotlight.
So if I can say that, so I run a design studio in Chennai. We have 3 brands called Madcap, My Copy, and Hazel. So we design stationery merchandise and we sell across few countries. And interestingly, we also work with artists, with kind of creating a platform for them across cities. We do workshops with them, and we try to work with them in whatever way possible to make partnerships exist, and we also want to make their lives easier as well. So that's about it. And as these guys said, I'm the 4th random dude. Shit, I don't know why I'm saying 3rd. So I'm so like 3 artists, 1 random. I'm that random
3
dude.
artists on random.
So you're gonna be hearing from me not that often, but then I'm gonna come once in a while, do some random stuff,
Yeah.
talk some really cool things.
That is. He's the business dude. You can say he's a business dude because when we 3 introduced ourselves, we didn't say anything about what we do. I mean, in the sense like our YouTube channels or Instagram page. He just like went in full Super Saiyan mode and dropped in like all his brands. Hey guys, it's Madcap. Hey guys, it's my copy. That's my Instagram handle as well.
You know what? One thing that I've learned is we're actually naturally sellers, all of us, right? We sell ourselves to our parents or to our teachers or to whoever it is. We're trying to convince somebody to get something or do something, right? So I think it's natural.
That sounds a bit dirty though.
Shit. Your brain is so screwed up, man.
Yeah, guys, this is a
That's the reason why we are artists, man.
This is a PG-13 situation here, like we spoke before.
Abacharam.
Oh,
We are so screwed that we chose art as a profession.
right.
Yes. Oh no.
I don't. Gokul's not. Yeah, he's got a different
I am not.
perspective on that.
No, but honestly, but genuinely speaking, for each and every artist, we need people like Gokul. I keep telling this to him quite often, not that often, but yeah, I acknowledge that honestly.
He just went high-fiving over here. He's like, yes.
It's quite rare that we come across people who supports art and artists and genuinely trying to provide some good platform. It's not like okay. So, so
I think you're talking more than what I paid you, man. So.
it's not about what the pay is. Of course, that's good anyway. That's different. I'm not going to complain about that. But at the end of the day, we all need to come on a common agreement that we don't have that much of an appreciation for art in this part of the country. So I think that's definitely going to be like a great significance or a great difference in any artist's life. It's not even about the monetary purposes. Sometimes it's also about the exposure and the things we learn when we conduct workshops. Conducting workshops and learning or instructing or being an instructor is not only about teaching someone. It's all about it's having a learning curve altogether. We'll be going through or we'll be discovering ourselves as we get along with that teaching procedure. So yeah, I think Gokul is a great businessman in that way, right, Gokul?
No, man, I'm still learning from you guys, man. I'm still learning. You know what? One interesting thing is every time I meet a new artist, I learn something completely new. And I think that's what keeps me going. And I'm just in love with working with artists, getting to know them, getting to know the good and the bad. I think, but overall, what? End of the day, all of us have the same goal of making sure we promote art, we invoke the interest in a lot more people on what artists follow their passion, rather than what people are telling them what to do, right? So if people had told you three guys what you had to do, they'll be completely different, right? And if you guys had actually followed on what people told you to do, I believe you guys would have ended something different rather than being an artist on your own right now. So I think that is something that I actually want to invoke or emulate to the people who are listening to this podcast, so that they get inspired, they get motivated and do what they want to do.
That is good.
Exactly.
That is good. And okay, so we four are doing this thing, and we should actually talk about what this podcast is all about, or get into into the specifics, like what people can expect out of the future episodes. So by the way, this is the introduction episode, right? So we're just messing around, doing stuff.
Yeah.
And
We're
that sounded
just tossing
completely
stuff
inappropriate,
around,
but
it's all very lighthearted.
Yes.
yeah.
This is going to be lighter on the veins and
Yeah. It's just very casual and laid back. But yeah, as Kesh said, we do have an agenda with this podcast, and there are things that we aim to do.
Well, what would be that, Adi, actually?
As the name suggests, what the art, it's all about art. We wanted to create a platform where people could seek inspiration, motivation, and even put themselves out there more. I mean, this for us, I believe, is a two-way street. We, the hosts, gain just as much out of this as we hope that the audience will gain out of it. Because from what I've seen, or from what I've noticed, rather, I think there needs to be
Adi,
a lot more.
just to stop you there. I'm so sorry, sorry to do this, dude.
That's fine.
Don't come too close to the mic, because you're breathing, right? The mic picks that up.
I'm actually not near the mic.
Oh, I can still hear some breathing, so that's why.
I was going to say you're not breathing at all. Actually, I'm not.
Okay. Wait, how's this? Is this better?
Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Sorry, go on. Sorry, I completely interrupted you there. Sorry.
What was I saying?
So sorry.
Telling about what the art.
Like a platform to seek
what it's
motivation,
about.
inspiration, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, uh, you know, at least from what I've seen in Hyderabad, and I'm sure Sri will agree with me here. I think the interaction between artists goes as far as an event. You go to an event, you meet some artists, and then you see their work, and like, oh, hey, that's so nice. Okay, cool, bye. And that's all the extent of the interaction is. I don't, at least I haven't experienced any interaction beyond that, except for like on Instagram, like people sending the occasional message or sharing their work. But I think there needs to be a bit more beyond that, a bit of an overlap where people can actually express themselves, showcase themselves, and a need for a creative outlet, essentially. Because people, artists, we're always looking for some sort of inspiration. We're always looking for a reason to do what we do. That's how we get our workout. We create whatever is around us, whatever inspires us. And I think a podcast like this, when you get to interact with so many people of different trades, of different styles, different mediums, I think there's always something new that you can learn and something that you can take back with you, and you can incorporate it into your life somewhere, into your own work somewhere. And I think that's how the community grows in a country that desperately needs the art community to be something monumental and expansive. And Hyderabad especially has a very untapped market, a very untapped potential. And I think this is, from our end, I think this is also a very great way to kind of tap into that and bring all this new talent out. And yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what we intended to be honest, because just like Adi said, we always we basically coincided with this thought that we need to provide a little platform. It's not like we needed to we needed to make a big impact on artist's life or something, but we wanted to give a little platform where it would shed some limelight, or it would shed some light at least for those untapped potential, for those artists, and or at least open up their bubbles and let them out into the actual world where artists are surviving. Because of course, being an introvert ourselves, me and Adi, I'm sure
yeah.
even Kesh could connect himself with that.
Actually, I'm a very extroverted dude.
Yeah.
I'm having a trouble with it. I'm an extrovert stuck in an introverted profession. I'm like struggling.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think your YouTubing stuff demands more of extroversion.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, just like I said, it's a bit awkward for us to even to begin a conversation with anyone
I
who's
get
not.
that. I get it. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so in the same way, so we wanted to make so we realized that, or at least I realized that, I'm sure me and Nadi were talking about the same thing a while ago, that we need to get out of our own comfort zones and bubbles and start interacting with people, so that we could form a whole tightly knit community for art, and eventually the community leads to professional connections, and that's how you form. And that's how you form your profession, or that's how you form a base or a foundation for your career. And that's I was saying to him that I wish I knew this a bit, I don't know, a bit earlier, when I was 19 or 18 or something like that. But at least better late than never. So it's just like we wanted to let those artists know who are stuck in their bubbles, just like I was. And not to do that thing, and let them on, drag them onto the streets, and interact with artists, and make some good connections for themselves, and be more productive than what they were being yesterday. So that's the main thing, that's the main agenda, to
Yeah,
motivate people.
we were actually just talking about this earlier. Sri was just telling me networking for artists.
It does miracles, man. It does miracles.
Networking, it does miracles, and I'm still, I myself am still learning this as I'm going on. Meeting new people, meeting new artists, people who share the same enthusiasm, the same interests. It not only piques your interest as an artist, but it also opens so many doors for you.
Yeah, wait,
So
do
many
you guys have the fan on? I'm sorry. Again, sorry to interrupt you like that.
The air conditioning is on.
I think that's the issue.
Or is that the issue?
Yeah, that's been blowing on the mic.
you don't want to bake us in this heat, do you?
Trust me, we're baking right here, just fine. We've done
You smell
our
good.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, but yeah,
Sorry,
I
go
was
on.
just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, no, yeah, we were just she was just saying how important of a thing networking is, and how we wished we knew that sooner. And I'm still learning this as I go.
yeah,
But
but still, Adi is young. That's the perfect age. He's 22 or 23, I guess. So
23.
yeah, so he can do lots more. Of course, it's not like I'm an old age bugger, but still,
But you're more experienced than me.
yeah,
You've
that's
been in this field for a long time.
yeah, for a long time, but it could have been a bit more higher if I knew these facts a bit earlier. Just like there are quite a lot of teenagers out there, and of course, I'm not going to compare the societal differences because each and every country has its own zones and professional attitude individually. But there are artists out there in Western countries and Europe, and I've been seeing and following them since years together now. Who were like 14 or 16 or something, and they were already working for Imaginefix and Disney and Warner Brothers
I
as
know
freelancers.
that's like the craziest stuff right there. I mean, you see like
Yeah,
super young people who like
yeah, and extremely talented. It's like
I
this
think I
thing.
know why it's sort of like that from over there. It's not sort of like a country wise thing. Like living in different countries do provide opportunities, but I think the internet has sort of leveled out the playing platform. I mean, the platform for us right now, and sort of
Oh,
everyone
that's true.
can, yeah, everyone can has equal opportunities. Some more than the other, but that's how life works, in my opinion. It's not fair. But if we just sit and complain about that, it's not going to work out. So
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
make
So it's
it
not
what
about the
you get,
comparison
and
at all. No, it's all
you just
about
get
yeah,
on
it's
with
all
it.
about it's again there is a societal awareness as well. So if you are completely aware of it, if there are physical opportunities available, if opportunities is equal to well pay, that's important here. It's not only about having an opportunity; it's about getting paid properly. It's only when you get paid properly, an artist is motivated. It's not being commercial, but it's being that's the only thing which could justify the efforts we do, just like anyone else out there, just like any other professions out there. So it's just the same thing I was talking about.
so
So
yeah,
yeah,
good.
So this podcast is also so the reason we started this podcast is one, obviously to shed some light on some artists, but also to talk more about the stuff that's happening in the whole universe of artists, any new things that are happening, and we also
yes,
want to share knowledge that we have learned together or individually, and also we want to help the listeners to gain knowledge from experts who they cannot reach out to personally, right? So for example, if you can
Yes, yes.
if you can feature a really super talented highly graded artist who's like massively successful, and if you can get him on this podcast, and we want to make sure we get a lot more people like that, a lot of people like that, and we want to make sure that they share their knowledge, their experiences, their life, what they went through, all this stuff. So that end of the day, we want this podcast to be an inspirational, motivational stuff, and also, but basically a fun thing to do. But then the more knowledge we share, the more successful we are, I think, with respect to this podcast.
True.
And I think that's the basic gamut of what we're going to do at what they are. It's going to be about sharing knowledge from experts and also featuring few artists and a lot more stuff here. Kesh, go on.
And actually, you know what? I have a completely different. I wouldn't say different. I have like a different perspective on why we're doing this podcast. So I think this is where this podcast sort of shines, because we all of us four are like completely on different thinking levels. Like we think differently, and I know we're going to disagree a lot in the coming episodes, and that's why I'm sort of in for this podcast, because I have these thoughts, right? I have these thoughts and perspectives on how to go about doing stuff with art and life and things, but those thoughts are just in your head, and if you don't put them out there in the real world and have them challenged, and you won't be able to sort of, what do you say, sculpt them. it's just like it's like a raw clay that is this not no use to anybody else. So that is one, like, sort of organizing my thoughts. That's like a selfish thing. But another thing is, all of us are sort of like in the process of making ourselves, right? We're not like artists with 40 years of experience in the field, doing things. We're all sort of starting out. We're all young. We're like 25, 26. Adi is like probably the youngest of us, and Gokul is definitely the youngest of all of us. I'm just kidding. Gokul is 55 right now.
What? No!
So yeah.
I just turned 13.
13, yeah. He just turned 13, guys. I'm telling you. So we have an underage kid on our podcast.
So sweet.
So anyways, yeah.
We have a cutie boy over there.
Who's that? Oh, him. All right.
The 13-year-old guy.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, so we what was I saying? Jesus, yeah. So we have all these people, right? And I would like, to sort of share our experiences and thoughts and process of us going through the stuff through this podcast, because you have tons of podcasts where people talk about the stuff that they've gone through, but you don't have that many podcasts that are based in our country, in India,
Exactly.
in our community, and that talks about the the process of going through or becoming an artist. For people who don't have any context on what it's like to become an artist in India, it's hard. I'll tell you that.
It
It's
most
hard.
certainly is.
Yeah, there are the financial aspects of trying to be an artist, which is sort of international, it's global. Everybody sort of faces it. There's sort of this weird community societal thing that's going on, which I personally don't care for, but most people do face that. And like your parents don't want to be don't want you to be an artist, because it's safer to be an engineer or a medical doctor or some guy who just what, dude, I have friends who did engineering for 4 years, who are repairing car seats in factories. So I still don't get some people who think that there are some safe options in like colleges and stuff. I don't think there aren't any safe options to go with. Like everything is damned. Just choose the less damned one.
Yeah, I think the competition
Even I
out
thought
there
I'd do
is-
the same, despite choosing the profession I needed, but I don't know how I ended up here, but still, I'm glad.
Yeah, I think the competition out there is like phenomenal, right? I think every day the amount of talented people that are coming out, not just from college, right, from their own personal talent.
And
I think it's
also,
huge.
I think it's not only about the talent, but there is a lot of it's about the volume. It's the mass production every year, and it's even the talent is being diluted a lot. Lots of dilution. I'm sure Kesh and Adi will agree with me on this, and also of
What
course
do you mean by
Gokul
dilution?
on. But the dilution, which is like the unoriginal talent, trying to manipulate the professions, or with the fresh water, there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. There are people, there is always a negative
It's
side
easy
to one
to
thing.
like sort of go. So what you're saying is it's sort of easy to like fake
Trying
it?
to make some quick bucks with shortcuts and all. Which aren't appreciated, but still you do it because you're getting paid, and eventually you'd bring that particular thing would bring a very bad impression on the fraternity itself.
Sort of, yes, true. I mean, I think you have those people in every field. So like people are always
We have
trying
it.
to
That's
fake
what I'm
it.
saying. Yeah. The dilution. It comes with the volume we have, the mass production, so much of population. So that's definitely there.
Mass production and population.
The mass production. I'm saying that's because the mass production is about people who are being graduated every year and throwing out on the industry. I call it mass production because it's like robots being thrown onto the roads.
I think it now comes down to each and every individual's personal perception and what they want to be and what they want to do.
Exactly.
I think it's up to them to pursue.
Actually,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think it's we're slightly society is slightly turning towards wherein they were respecting more on the individual's aspirations and ideas rather than what their parents or family want to do, right? But end of the day, right? There are like so many people out there wanting to do stuff, and I mean, there's no wrong with you getting a job and working somewhere. It's
Yeah.
cool, but then the point is, do you follow your passion? Do you do what you actually want to do? Is a question.
That's sort of true. Okay, hopefully I didn't come off wrong in my previous sentence. The thing is, what I was trying to say was, uh, people who are sort of not interested in doing the typically, what do you say, suggested fields of engineering and medicine, which is usually the suggested fields here in India, and they go and choose that thing and they do a mediocre job at it, and those people end up in, like, like in a weird place in life. Like some of my friends who wanted to be sort of journalists and artists and creative types who chose engineering, but they didn't do a good job at it because they didn't have the sort of want to do that. They ended up in like mediocre jobs, and I'm not like putting down.
You're kind of killing talent that way.
True. And I'm not even putting those jobs down. Like people who are fixing seats in factories, I'm not putting those jobs down. But I'm just saying, if you're not doing the stuff that you like, then you have a problem with yourself. I don't have a problem with that, but you will probably have a problem with yourself.
But then you know what? There's other side to it as well, right? It also comes down to I think somewhat what she said, like what the particular person's personal background or his background is as well, right? So for example, there are actually my college mates who studied the same mechanical with me in college, right? But once we graduated, I've seen within the same class, right? There's a guy who was earning about 40-50K per month on a job from day one, and there was also a guy who was earning only 6K per month. The reason is,
what did you study?
mechanical, BTech mechanical engineering, right? So this guy who earned 50K got a job in an MNC, could be a core company, could be TCS or whatever IT company. But the guy who got 6K, even though he had better talent, the guy who got a better salary, but he had to go back to his village to do this stuff, right? So go back to his village, be with his family, whatever stuff. So and he had to settle down there for the low salary and stuff. So what I'm trying to say, there are actually students who have a different background, who are forced to study something which is not even their passion, just to make sure they feed their family, right? So
that's the issue.
I think that's still a big issue.
They have to make ends meet.
Yeah,
That's still a big issue in India, right? So but
that's
anyway,
a whole different ballgame.
but anyway,
we can't help it.
So we are here to talk about how you follow your passion, how artists go about doing their things, and how weird they are, particularly. Right?
Yeah,
I actually think they're really
so
weird
before
people,
that,
so.
let me just give a quick tour about another idea we wanted to share with the people who are listening to this. That we'll be also about us inviting other guests in every alternate episode. Our plans to invite them. So we are also planning to invite a few of the creative people in our own fraternity, and for those who are inclined towards into the creative jobs, we're going to invite them. Share the space. Of course, share the mic here. So
we're gonna invite all kinds of people. Who's just not us. Gonna be us three or us four. So it's gonna be like more people, more experienced people, and sometimes like completely new artists who are trying to sort of like find their way to this field. Everything.
Yeah.
So we are going to, it'll also be like we'll be conducting weekly polls on if we'll be announcing that particular guest who's going to appear in this appear in the upcoming episode, and we'll be interacting with you all guys and we'll be making some quick Q&A polls on what you wanted to ask to that particular guest, regarding what he does, and maybe you can share your thoughts or your questions with us in that poll. And of course, we'll be answering them. We'll be taking few of the questions from all those, and we'll be asking the guest. And of course, all the regular questions about the podcast, you can always drop in, and we'll be considering them as we get along with the further episodes.
Let's just tell them how often we're going to do the podcast.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. We're probably going to do it every 10 days. So there's going to be 3 episodes a month. So that's going to be the plan, and it will be out during the weekends. And so that's the plan right now, and it'll be up on our YouTube channel. So that's going to be like one of the main sources, but you'll be able to like listen it on like Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and stuff like that. So all the
I think iTunes is going to be dead in the next 10 days. So
what's wrong?
yeah, so they are ending the iTunes in the next 8 days. So not even 10.
Damn, I didn't know that.
iOS 13 or something. Right?
Yeah, so they're shutting it down, and they are making 3 different channels: Apple Music, podcasts, and movies. I guess.
I think we should also talk about a few of the questions that we got from people.
Yeah, so we're sort of at that mark right now. We're at like the 40-minute mark. So before that,
already that was fast.
Yeah, we're at the 40-minute mark. I don't know how long. We're just gonna rant. Like most of our episodes are gonna be like 60 minutes to 1 hour, 90 minutes. I don't know.
60 minutes to 1 hour is the same thing.
And I said 60 to 90 minutes, dude. I said 60 to 90.
60 to 90. We don't want people to sleep on us.
We don't want to.
How about this?
What we can do?
Let's do one thing. How about we have a few questions that people asked us.
Yeah.
How about quickly each one of you go through those questions, give your stance on it, and then
guys, we need to be like sort of short on our what do you say answers. So
we have quite a few questions over here. So what I'm going to do is this is how I'm thinking it to go. Like I'll just try to read the person's name who posed the question.
Yeah.
And answer it quickly. Maybe 1 or 2 of them, and Aditya will take 1 or 2, and Kesh again, and also Gokul, and we'll answer it according to our own experiences, and we can have a conversation regarding that again.
Super. Sure. Shoot.
Okay. Aditya,
so the first question.
Okay.
Kesh, are you going to take it?
No, you guys go ahead. Wait. We decided upon that good question, which was. You had a good question, so we'll save that for the last one. We'll save that question for last. So, what are the questions you have?
So I had this question, an interesting question indeed. The username wasn't that prominent though, but I couldn't read it. But I actually remember the question a lot. So it goes like this. So what makes our podcast special, or why should they actually listen to this podcast?
Okay.
So I thought that's an interesting one. It quite challenged me a bit. It made my mind go a bit chaotic because even I didn't know what it was going to be.
I'll give you my thing. My answer on that. I think I sort of know why people sort of should listen to this podcast. I think I've sort of made it clear already. One, to sort of go through with people who are in the dirt doing the thing, like playing the game, because you don't see there are a couple of differences between people who have gone through the stuff and teaching you those things, and people who are going through the stuff and talking to you about those things. Because when you have gone through the stuff, you'll only remember the lessons that you learned, which is good. That's like a completely different perspective that needs to be, one should experience that perspective. But when you're going through the thing, you're more live and in the moment, and you'll know the nuances of, what it actually means to go through that stuff. For example, if you're going from point A to point B, you're driving in a car, would you listen to the person? You can listen to both people. So there are 2 people. So one person has already gone through that point A to point B, and he's talking you over the phone, telling you, okay, go right, go left, and go straight, and go whatever. But a person who's sort of going with you from point A to point B, who's going through with you on that process, but he knows the route, and he's sort of with you during that thing, and he'll be able to sort of better guide you. So he's like your personal navigator. I'm not saying that we've gone through the stuff. We're just like a couple of steps ahead of. That sounds pretentious, to be honest. But anyways, steps ahead in certain things, not everything. We're not that enlightened in any way, but we just know a thing or two, or we go through stuff and we quickly learn stuff, and we want to talk about those things because people need that, and that's why one should listen to our podcast. And also we have like 4 different perspectives. Like, I'm
Yes.
going to play the devil's advocate here most of the time. Like, when Gokul said people should follow their passion, my brain just went up, like, quickly. Like, I was like, no, people shouldn't follow their passion. And I know I have like a completely different
Actually, I
thing.
kind of agree with you on that in a bit, but then let's talk
Yeah, I
about
know,
it
I
in
know,
the
I
session.
know. I get what you're trying to say. What you mean by people should follow their passion, and and people should be motivated and inspired about their podcast. Like, like for me, right? I don't want people to be motivated and inspired about like hearing this podcast, because those are like fleeting moments of feelings in my experience, at least. Those things come and go, and they're like never there. What I would rather have people experience is like repetition. If you keep hearing something repeatedly, right, on a consistent basis, that thing really goes into your head. So if you're listening to a couple of artists say the same thing over and over again, and that thing finally gets to you, it sort of clicks to you, and you make the action, that small little piece of action that's going to change your career, then that's where the thing is at. That's where the gold mine is at, for me at least. So motivation, inspiration is good. You need that, sort of. But I would rather have something that's more tangible and consistent. So that's why they should listen to the
honestly
podcast, in
believe,
my opinion. So you guys go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was about to say, I mean, when you were just talking about that, about following your passion, I honestly kind of I think it's a bit of a more of a gray area with me, but I kind of do believe that there's a fine line between following your passion and also being able to sustain yourself in the world. Because obviously the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Come on now. I mean, you've got to put bread on the table. If you've got a family, you got to support your family. You got to support yourself. You've got to get by in the world, and sometimes I'm not. I don't mean to discourage, but sometimes it may not always pan out that way. If you like blindly follow your passion without regarding anything else, without taking any other factors into account. And I kind of do believe that you have to definitely strike a balance.
Yeah,
in whatever you do.
you're right. But also, we should do an episode on following your passion.
I think, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's
I think,
eventually
yeah,
going to
You know what? That should be like episode 2 or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So also, which brings us to the same, which brings us to the ideation part again. So between having guests in our episodes, we'll be having a focused topic in one particular episode every month, or 2 episodes every month and one guest. It's going to be randomized that way, so that
completely random.
so that we'll be able to cover some good stuff and many questions from you guys as well. So anyway, so this question was posed by Sketch by Prem. The Instagram profile goes by Sketch by Prem, I guess. So yeah. Let me have another question, very quick one. So which is quite interesting again. And I think Kesh could relate himself to that as well. This question is by the Doodle Girl, aka
I know
the
her.
Cupcake.
Right.
Yeah, that cupcake lady. She's a big fan of you, man.
I think she sent me some artworks in the past, and I think she's the one. Wait, I'm confusing that with another person. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she sent me hearts for you, man. So
Thank you.
Wow.
Tell her I said a big thank you.
So the question is, in a world so hard, being a freelancer isn't easy. Tell us how you never gave up. So I think, to be honest, I never thought that I'd sustain in a freelance career this long. The first year, I think it's 10 years ago almost now, the age of 17 or 18, when I started out my college. I was like, okay, let's try this on. I never wanted to work under someone. It wasn't
It's been 10 years since you started freelancing?
Yep.
Wait,
almost.
how old?
He's old, man.
Yeah, I'm old, man. I'm 47.
No. You're 28, right? 28.
I'm 27 now.
So you started. Oh yeah, right. Okay. Oh wait, shit! I'm 25. Jesus. Oh god.
So old.
No, I told him.
I'm the second oldest dude over here.
So wait. So even I started freelancing sort of in college second year or something like that. Oh Jesus, so it's
Jesus
been like.
Christ.
And then I was like, I was in my head thinking like, okay, it must be like 3 or 4 years since I started freelancing. Oh God. All right.
Sorry for
Okay.
that.
Sorry, you go on, man. Go on.
So yeah, I never thought that I'd sustain this freelancing thing, but I never wanted to work under someone. I thought I always had this notion. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it kept my boat afloat. So I think it went right by me. And I thought that it wouldn't work so well. It wouldn't be, it would restrict or constrain my creative abilities to the maximum extent. I thought, and I've seen many people not getting paid properly, taking art as their careers and being employed under someone, an art studio or an advertising agency, and not being respected. Not being respected not only on himself but his own work as well. So I don't care if I'm not respected, but art must be respected, and at least if you're paying me, it's not only the thing which is going to work, but it's also about the respect we receive for our work. I thought that, and I thought freelancing gives me a proper ability and a couple of more wings to explore more dimensions, and of course it would definitely encourage us to learn multitasking, and manage our own schedules in our own way. And I never wanted to be restricted by someone, controlled, and always trying to wait for a weekend to have a movie for myself, or go for shopping with my mother or someone. So it's been a mix of thoughts. And I wanted to draw a lot. It's not like from 9 to 5 or 5 to 9 in the night. It wasn't. I was never into this idea. So I always thought, okay, so let's begin freelancing. Let's take independent commissions and let's promote my artwork. All this particular idea also has a lot of let's shove all these advertisements into people's throat every day. So I think it turned out pretty well. There were lots of highs and lows, just like anyone else out there. But yeah, I think my boat is still on water and it's floating well, without any major accidents. Let's see. I'm hopeful.
Wait,
And
so
yeah, I
was
think
the
it's all
question?
about it's all about patience. I think it's all about patience and how committed you are and how passionate you are in what you're doing. You know, it's a struggle every day. It's a fight you need to wake up to every day, every morning, and that's how you're going to sleep as well. So it's going to be its consistency is the key. So that's what I usually say. Yeah.
Shri,
So
the question was, how do you stick with the hard times? Was that a question?
no, that was how do you sustain with the freelancing in the long run?
Okay. Oh, how do you sustain freelancing in the long run?
Yeah, it's so it's
Adi, you
so
want to
hard
go
in
at it?
today's world. So how do you sustain that? It was the
Got it,
question.
got it, got it. Yeah. Adi, you know what? You give your take on this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still new to this. I mean, yeah, sure. I guess I can consider myself freelancer, but I'm not nearly as experienced as you or Sri. But from what I've noticed, I mean, what Sri said, yes, it is definitely an uphill battle, and you've got to fight for it every day. I mean, it's a hustle. You've got to be able to juggle a lot of things. I mean, freelancing in this field isn't only about making your art and then just putting it out there. You have to market yourself. You have to socialize with people. You come across an endless wave of different kinds of people.
Uh,
You've got to know how to deal with them, and yeah, I mean,
right, got it. You know what? I think me and Gokul are gonna have like a similar answer on freelancing. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
mm,
He's a good business dude. I know. Like first time I met him, I know this is gonna sound really bad, but trust me, it's not. It's a compliment.
Okay.
Okay. So so he's the kind of person when he sees an opportunity, he makes use of it. And I think he sort of he's playing in the same field. Like he started out with stationery and books, and right now he's doing workshops. And if I call you an opportunist,
Yeah,
opportunist,
absolutely.
okay, that is I didn't mean that
No,
as
no,
a
actually,
thing.
that's good.
Good, yeah, because I think that's a key part of being a freelancer. Like finding opportunities and making use of them. So that is one. That is one. Two, if you want to sustain freelancing in the long run, which I personally wouldn't, I've sort of stopped freelancing altogether. So this might not be the best place for me to come from, but I don't want to do freelance. I do want to do freelance, but on my own terms and on my own basis. But here's the thing with freelancing. You're sort of playing in the blind right there. You're sort of going into a dark tunnel. You can see sort of like, a couple of steps ahead. Maybe you'll have clients for like 5-6 months. If you're really good, 7-8 months. And for some people who are just starting out, they'll only have clients for the next 1 or 2 months. And after that, you'll have this big question mark on your head. Okay, how am I gonna survive after this? These 2 months are gone. Okay, once I'm done with these clients, how am I going to go do that? So that's where the business part of you should kick in. So like when you're sort of going into business, you're sort of going into war. You don't know what's going to happen. You can't expect stuff. You can't like plan meticulously. You can plan stuff. You can have a vision. You can have like a roadmap of how you want to go about stuff. But this is like boxing. Once you go into the ring, you no matter how meticulous your plan is, you're gonna get punched in the face.
Yeah, there's always gonna be some sort of unexpected hurdle, or there's just gonna be something that you're gonna have to improvise and adapt on the fly.
Yeah, true. Improvising is one, but what I'm trying to say here is be okay with that dreaded feeling of not knowing what's gonna happen after those 2 or 3 or 4 months or 7 months or 8 months, and be okay with not being able to see the whole path, so that is what I think is the key to sustain freelancing or sustain business or whatever that you want to do in the long run. You're never gonna, and freelancing is one of those fields where you're not gonna know what's gonna happen like in a couple of months, and unless you're sort of like a big shot who's got like an agent or something, because there are tons of illustrators out there who have agents and they look out for them. And if you don't have an agent and you're the one who's doing the marketing and everything, know that.
Yeah, that's always the scene.
Yeah.
And it's the agent fashion is not that predominant in India.
India, true, but it's over there in the.
I didn't know that.
Can
I be an agent for all of you guys?
Yeah, please do.
Please do.
Sign me up right now.
So
we never knew that you could be one.
I thought I was all.
So that was the reason why.
So you know what? I think I have a.
Wait. I'll just finish that thing. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
So really think of the worst feeling that you can like muster up, and learn to be okay with that feeling. Then you can sustain freelancing in the long run, because most of the time it's not about not having those feelings. It's actually about like putting up with those feelings and just going forward no matter what. So that's
insanely tough if you ask me. I've had lots of in my tiny share of experience. It's not a lion's share though. There are masters out there who had an experience of like 25, 30, 40, 45 years of experience as freelancers. I just can't imagine how they even pulled it off, to be honest. But for me as for an artist who's approaching a 10-year closure for a freelancing thing, it's been quite a journey. It's been you never know if you're going to have an upward journey, but I'm dead sure that you'll be going through a downside for sure. So so that's I can assure you that there is always a way down, and there are always breakdowns at all the time, and you need to sustain a lot of them, and chin up all the time, not wasting your precious time, and instead working on your portfolio and expanding your horizons, and keep your clients posted about your new work and your services. It's very important. It's an everyday game, like I said.
Yeah, it's all about.
So I want to give a different perspective on, not a different perspective per se, but from a different angle of view, right? Because I'm not an artist, but I've worked with a lot of freelance artists. I do work with a lot of freelance artists, right?
So he's the hiring end of the section.
So I actually believe freelancers are actually entrepreneurs by themselves. And I agree with Kesh on the fact that they've got to take every opportunity that comes in their way.
I was entrepreneurs with emotions.
Yeah, so no man, you're wrong with it. Okay, you've never been on my side, so you have no clue. So the thing is, I was just listening to Kevin Hart's book, audio book, like for the past 5 days, right? One thing that I learned from is that I can actually relate to freelancers and even to myself is take every opportunity that you have, but with a goal towards. Let's say you want to become the best cartoon artist in the world, right? Go towards that. Take every opportunity that you think is gonna move towards that particular goal, right? It could pay you 50 rupees, it could pay you 5,000 bucks, doesn't matter. But experience counts, and how many people know you counts, and how much of your work is out there also counts a lot. So do a lot more work. Take every opportunity that comes to your way, and moving towards your goal, right? I think that's one way of sustaining, and also making sure that you're always open for big opportunities, because you have no idea who you're going to meet or who would pick you at any point in time.
Exactly.
So one thing that I want to say what she told was networking, right? Go out and talk to a lot of people. Like most of the artists that I've met are introverts. They don't go, not like Kesh is the complete opposite of it. So, but all of these guys, the biggest problem that they have is they actually don't go talk about themselves, right? And that's where I actually want to help as well. But then that's where they also have to go out and talk to more people, show them who they are, and without them showing who they are and what they're expert at, right? There's no way people are going to come and knock their doors and give them a job and help them with the freelancing stuff. So it's not about you going after your passion, your goal, or whatever. But you have to actually go out and meet people, tell them what you do. I think that a lot of artists are actually very shy to even put out in social media actually what they do. I've got emails every week saying that, you know what, I do all this crazy stuff. I'm like, it's so cool. Do you have an Instagram? They're like, no, I'm not in social media. I'm like, what's the point?
I know.
What's the point? Okay. So
let's add what the art over here.
So
What's the art?
Branding.
So what the dash? So you have to be out there, keep yourself exposed, be shameless in promoting yourself, right?
Oh, yes.
That is something that artists lack. That's my personal opinion. They're very shy at most of the times, but you have to be like damn shameless to go out and promote yourselves.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I've been doing passively.
don't even consider the number of no's that you will get, because it doesn't matter. All you have to get is one big S. All that matters. So I think you just have to go ahead with every job, every opportunity that you have. People should obviously follow their passion or what they like to do. But at the end of the day, you should be open for more opportunities. Never say no. Be out there. Be networking. Don't be shy. Go out there. Expose yourself. Be shameless. Right. I think it's the only way to go attain your goal.
Not literally though.
You never know. So depending on what field you want to be, right? Everything is called art these days.
What?
Everything is called art these days.
Jesus Christ. I've been seeing stuff, right? Like stuff here and there, and this is how. You know what? Actually, I'm sort of lenient with my definition of art. Then I'm seeing stuff that's like a white canvas that's been sold for like $1 million. And I was like, what the actual...
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah. So I think we should probably wrap it up right now and tell people what they can expect next week.
Right.
And when they can expect this podcast, probably live.
No, this is going to be live when they actually hear it, so we don't have to actually talk about that.
So this is gonna be out there in all the possible mediums.
Yeah.
I think you should be on. What the hell? What am I talking? Because anyway, they'll be listening to this. Why am I telling that they will be listening?
That's why I told you. You don't have to tell them that.
Yeah. So I think I personally had an amazing last 60 minutes or whatever amount of time, right? We're talking to you guys. I was just telling Kesh on the side that by end of this series of episodes, it's going to be very liberating for me, having spoken a lot of stuff. And I'm just looking forward to sharing my thoughts and views. And actually, more than that, I'm looking forward to learning from you guys on your life, how you guys think, so that I can be better on what I do with you guys, right? So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting journey. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. I'm just here to fight, to be honest. I'm just here to like wrestle like a crazy monkey, because like I told you, I want to challenge my own thoughts, and the way to do that is to like actually put it forward to other people, forth to other people, and I'll side with the best conclusion regardless of from whoever it comes from, either me, Shri, Adi, or Gokul. So that's my goal for this podcast. So yeah, how's it, guys? How's the first episode of the Ad Show?
Yeah, no, I mean.
So it's just like we said, it's going to be on your devices very soon. It was good again.
Devices near you, people. It's just like so corporate professional right now.
Yeah, What the Art podcast coming soon to a device near you.
Dude, you understand they'll be already listening to this when you say this, right?
Yeah, so this is going to be like completely
to spread the word again and again and again.
You can listen to this podcast on iTunes. Dude, I'm already listening to it on iTunes. What the hell are you saying that?
Whispering in the ears, not for you, for the future listener.
Right.
Go on.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we made this the last 60 minutes possible. What do you think, Adi?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really amazing time. Oh, time just flew. I didn't even realize it had been like 60 something minutes because I was just so engaged.
60 plus, I guess. 60 plus minutes.
Yeah, I was just so engaged in this conversation. But yeah, see, this is exactly the kind of thing that we want to bring out to you people, and it helps us just as much as we hope it would mean something to you guys. Just just like four guys just sharing four completely different perspectives on on something, and you never know, you always learn something new out of it, and it's something that you can take forward with you, and I hope all of you listening were able to gain something out of this, even though most of the introduction was nonsense, but
I think you guys should also forgive us if we were not very professional, but then that's okay. I don't think we never wanted to be professional per se.
We wanted to be.
That's what we wanted to be.
Casual,
You must have gotten an idea about it, when you realized that we all are talking simultaneously.
Yeah, you must have.
I'm actually very happy that we used the effort.
We're throwing out.
We're actually all of us. We need to work on our communication skills.
Yeah.
We're like overlapping each other sometimes, and that's probably partly due to the lag. That's one, but yeah, we'll work on that.
We are working on it as we speak.
We are, yeah.
So we are like fiddling with the connections.
Oh Jesus, don't do that.
Confining ourselves to 40 minutes, man, it's going to be tough, I guess.
No. I think future episodes we can do 90 minutes. I mean, just this is the first episode. With you guys want to answer like one more question, like very quickly? I mean,
Adi has a question.
I posted a questionnaire a little while ago on Instagram, and this actually comes from a friend of mine here in the city. He goes by the Instagram name Sagatur Balaji, and he asked me, what's the ideal environment that you require, according to you, to bring out the best work in you? And I guess that's a very that's a very personal question, because the answer will definitely vary from person to person.
Ideal environment to bring out your best work.
Yeah.
What's the ideal environment that you would require to bring out your best work?
I think that's quite subjective.
It is subjective. For me, I have no definitive answer to that. I mean, I just go with like a very minimal setup. Most of the time when I'm drawing, I'm just sitting in a very comfortable position. I'm always listening to like some playlist or something. Some good music. I have my reference image in front of me, and I just kind of go with the flow, and and I don't overdo it also. When you feel like you need to take a break, when you feel like you've had enough for a little bit, it's okay to step away from your drawing. It's okay to step away from artwork for a while, and then come back to it with a fresh state of mind, with like a completely new perspective.
That's a part I never was good at learning.
You know what? I have like a very super quick answer for that. I have two answers for that actually. The ideal environment would be the one that works for you. That is one. And two, if you're waiting for to set up the ideal environment to do the work for you, you're never going to do the work. To be honest, in my opinion. So
exactly. If all it takes is the will to work, and you'll
that
find
is true. But it's also it's also about making it sort of comfortable for you. But dude, I never had the ideal setup to make YouTube videos in 2010. I had a dinky old camera I borrowed from my friend, and like I made shitty video. Oh Jesus, swear not to say. Okay, bad videos, and I didn't wait for the idea. That's something that it might sound pretentious again, but that's something that I really like about myself. I like never wait for stuff to start doing things. I just like grab the stuff that I have with me and I'll start doing things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you work with what you have and you keep.
You
building
make
from that.
the atmosphere ideal.
Yeah.
That's the
Sort
point.
of. Yeah, sort of. That is true. Go. What's your take on that book?
I just think there's no ideal environment for anybody in the world.
True.
You have to make the best
Exactly.
of what you have.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
this world isn't ideal for us, man.
I think the world isn't ideal for anybody. If you think us, then how do you
Yeah,
think the world is ideal
exactly.
for polar bears? Okay.
us is everyone. Us is everybody.
So I think we can wrap it up with this stuff, right? I think
Right.
for the next episode we're gonna talk more about within
like,
quotes passion
well,
and
yeah.
also life journeys on about these.
So
three
we're going to
folks.
talk about all our, how we came to be the greatest artists of all time. So that's going to be the topic.
So
of
good that we laughed it off.
Yeah. So that's going to be the topic of the next episode.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting. So yeah.
So closing thoughts. I think we already said our closing thoughts. I
Yeah.
think people are just
Yeah.
like waiting for us to wrap up. Dude, shut the
Wrap
hell
up,
up.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
podcast.
people are just waiting for us to
Let's
shut up.
So they'll be going like, shut the art up now.
Yeah, shut the art is the.
Actually, that's a nice way to off, right? Shut the art. Let's just cut.
Yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1, and
Shut the art.
Oh,
Shut the art.
Oh, we're supposed to shout shut the art? Damn.